You are listening to the Slowly Dying Podcast with Bekah.
Am I just extra or are you just basic?
Yo, what's
Can
up,
you
Daddy?
please move your leg? I cannot believe my ex said that.
And Bronte. I can't believe any of my exes said that. I didn't have my coffee today. I'm sorry. If there's good food, there is no problem.
Some whipped cream on your nose, actually.
Are we really back for another season?
We get it down on the mic because you don't want a bike.
Oh God, here we go.
Hey guys, what's poppin'? It's Bekah back on the mic by myself. Bronte is still not feeling well and still doesn't have a voice. So I'm going to be using my voice to talk about a very sensitive topic for me. I know that, I'm trying to finish up the co-parenting series. I know that me and Bronte took about a month off. And that's okay. If you guys missed her reasoning, please go check out I'm Sorry. It's one of Bronte's rants. It kind of made me tear up a little bit, but I'm glad that she was be able to be honest and raw with you guys, because I know, as one of the, people that share sensitive things about my life, Bronte does as well. It is hard because once you put your information out there, it can never be taken back. But I think it definitely takes some balls to put some information out there. And this is a very sensitive topic for me. I'm going to be talking about family issues with co-parenting. I didn't want to talk about this because, I think there's people that listen to my podcast, and not just about co-parenting, definitely ex-friends. I'm sure my son's father has listened to it. He hasn't said anything, but I'm sure he's heard about it. My family members that I don't talk to anymore, my ex-friends, I think they all listen. They might not say they listen, but I'm sure they listen. And I think it's such a sensitive topic because I'm like, oh, what if they listen? But honestly, it does not even matter, because I'm not here to make people happy. I'm not here to, talk shit about somebody or not talk shit. I'm here to explain myself and give myself a voice. And honestly, if I just help one other person who's going through this, then that's honestly the goals achieved. And if nobody listens, this is so therapeutic to me. This is something that me and Bronte did to give ourselves a voice, and so therapeutic. If you guys don't want to start a podcast, start recording yourself and start letting your feelings out. I don't really write my feelings down, but I've noticed talking about my feelings really is very therapeutic to me. So I'm going to share my thoughts about some family issues. And like I say, with every co-parenting rant, since it's just a sensitive topic, that the things that I say might not be about my son's father's family or my son's father. It might be, friends of a friend. I might have heard it on YouTube, another podcast. I might have not heard it at all. Maybe I just thought, oh, maybe somebody else is dealing with this. Or it could be about me and my son's father, or me and my son's father's family. So you guys will never know. If you're listening out there and good for you. I share some personal things with my closest friends and my family. So like I said, I didn't want to do this one because I think this one involves a lot of drama, unnecessary drama. And this is what hurts, because I don't think you realize, when you lose somebody, as you're breaking up, you lose that family as well. I mean, some people don't. It's very, very rare that somebody's like, oh, we're so cool. We eat dinner with our ex's family, and good for you. I wish that could be the case sometimes in my case, but it's not. This is reality, and it's just a very sensitive topic, because when you do spend a lot of time with somebody, that family really becomes your family. And I think when you break that off, you kind of lose some of that family. You don't see them as much. You don't eat dinner as much. You might not hang out, with the whole family. And that's okay. That's a normal part of breaking up. You don't even have to have a child to feel that. I felt with that 2 exes ago as well. But, it is what it is. It's just reality. A lot of families, well, not a lot, very little families actually, will stay friends with the other parents, mother or father. It can go both ways. I know that I always just talk about the opposite. Like, I'm the mom and he's the dad, so we're talking about his family. But it could go both ways. It's just how I'm saying it, I guess. It can be very good because some of the families that I've noticed will go ahead and still help that, the mother out, because that is the mother of their grandchild. That is the mother of their, aunt, like whatever. It's still, the parent is still that family to that child. So they might still view that person as family and they still might help. And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to say openly, I don't have a problem with most of my son's family. They did nothing to me. I just had to take a really big step back. And that was my personal choice. I took a step back from a lot of things, not just them. There was a lot of toxic going on. There was a lot of lies. There was a lot of cheating that, I have proof with it all. See, guys, when I have proof with something, I don't send it to people because I am very, very, very focused on honesty and loyalty. That's like my personality. I can get crazy. I can get down. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. I might yell at somebody. But when it comes to loyalty and honesty, that is my number one value. So I think when that is like, quote unquote, taken away from me and I'm viewed as somebody who lied and somebody who's bitter and somebody who tried to ruin the family, I couldn't take it anymore. Yes, I had proof to destroy a lot of those relationships. I still have the proof. My friends and family has seen the screenshots, but I'm not that person who will be like, you don't believe me, here's a screenshot. I'm not like that. If you don't believe me, then you're a dumbass, pretty much. Because like I said, I have the screenshots, but I'm not going to send them. Just because I feel like if you don't believe me, then you should not have proof to believe me because I've never lied to you type thing. That's just how I feel. And it's not just about family, your ex's family. It's about everything. So I think I needed to distance myself from a lot of that. And it's not just because, this person did this and this. It just became very toxic. And I distanced myself from my son's father as well. Because, when you start setting boundaries with people, they become very upset. I actually ended up a long time ago, I deleted my social media. I did a rant about that. It wasn't because of the family. It was just in general. I separated myself from a lot of people, even my own family, certain family members and certain friends. I've lost friends over the years. When you start getting closer to 30, you stop taking bullshit. I gotta stop saying, because the toxic is just not worth it. When you know true happiness, and I can finally say, I know what true happiness is. I've been single for 3+ years. Does not ever mean I never had a daddy. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I've had people to talk to, but it's like when you've been truly single and you have nothing to do but face yourself and face your issues and face the people that you're toxic to, and you work on it for 3 years. Let me tell you something. You're going to want to be single for another 3 years. A lot of people can't be single because it forces them to look in the mirror. I've talked about this so many times, and work on their problems. People don't want to work on their problems. They want to cover it up and get into a new relationship. And that's fine if that's how you deal with things. I did not want to deal with that because I saw people not changing. People are constantly the same. And I didn't want to constantly be able to ignore red flags. Because that's exactly what I did. I started ignoring red flags and I started to be stupid. And now I'm like, nah, that person has red flags. Now that family has red flags. Now I don't want to associate myself with that. Just a little side note. That's not about the family. I'm just saying that's like in general, and families can switch up big time. You think it's hurtful to lose an ex, wait until you lose a family that you've loved. I've heard so many stories, like they're like, I miss the family more than I miss my ex. And it's true, because again, that becomes your family and it sucks, but it's like, you cannot be in a toxic environment, Like, I'm sure when Willie starts having girlfriends and bringing his friends over and I'm like, oh, you want to stay for dinner? You start having relationships with them. And they come around more and they're always sleeping over on a Friday night. You know what I mean? Like, that you just become part of the family and then that gets taken away. I'm sure the parents have a hard time letting go. It's so hurtful, and if you have a kid and like that's the, the grandparent or the aunt or the uncle or the cousin, and that's taken away and you don't get to see the child as much as you used to because now the people broke up and the mom has them more, the dad has them more. I'm sure that's hurtful and that takes a toll on the family. But at the end of the day, with all that toxic crap going on and all this stuff, and I've said it with every single thing, the truth always comes out. It always comes out. You don't need to send screenshots. You don't need to do all this stuff. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've said some hurtful things, but the truth always comes out. It always does. And the kid will always find out. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked to so many people that, like, their parents are not together and they're like, and they just turned 18 and now they're realizing things that they'd never realized before. And they're like, oh, wow, like, I didn't know daddy did this, or I didn't know this was lied about, or I didn't know mommy was like that. There's a lot of things kids will start to understand when they're older. And I think, you can't help it. They're going to find out. Like I said, the truth always comes out, and, yeah. So, it's like still hurts sometimes that I separated myself from the family. Of course, like, if they needed something, if it was a life-threatening emergency, of course you're going to be there. People aren't heartless, but I think sometimes taking a huge step back and focusing on your mental health and your child's mental health, you'll honestly see the biggest difference. Me and Willie, we travel together. We have so many trips coming up. I'm taking him to the Bahamas for a week. We're going to St. Louis. I'm going to Miami, and we're going to Disney next October for a week. We're going to be going to the Bahamas. We're taking a whole 8-day night cruise, whatever you want to call it, and that stuff makes me happy, but I'm happy without that stuff. But the fact that I can focus and travel and do things that I wanted and honestly be such a healthier person and not in such a toxic environment where I'm called a liar and a bitter baby mama, and other people play the victim of their own consequences, I think you'll really start to blossom. Might not be right away, but I mean, so many people have came up to me and like, you are so like, it's refreshing to see how happy you are and you've been single. And it's like, people that are single are smart. I mean, of course, I don't want to be single for the rest of my life and I want more babies. I want Willie to have brothers and sisters. I definitely will be giving him that. Definitely after marriage, and definitely buying a house. Gonna try to do it that way this time. But, yeah, it definitely can be hurtful. And there's nothing wrong with removing yourself from a family. Whether you have a child with that person or, it's just your ex's family, or sometimes it can be your own family. If you need to take a step back, like sometimes like me and my mom argue and I'm like, you know what, Mom, I just need a couple days of not talking to you. I need to get my head on straight, and then we come back when we're more level-headed, and sometimes when you step away from family, you can't really talk to the family about it, because sometimes you can't, and like I said, just remember, family will always be on family's side, whether they're right or wrong. Like I might argue with that family member and like their mom and dad might be like, well, you're crazy. Well, am I crazy because you're just protective over your child, or am I crazy because I did something wrong? You know what I mean? You might not have done anything wrong, but they're always going to be protective over that child. And that's okay. Like, I'm going to be protective over Willie, but I'm telling you right now, listen, all my grave. If Willie cheats, acts like a little asshole, he does anything crazy, I'm going to tell him about himself. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's okay, Willie. I'm not going to be that kind of parent. He will definitely know when he's wrong. I will have a talk with him when he's old enough. About life situations. I expect the best out of my son. Not saying he is going to be perfect, but I want him, to have morals, and I want him to know right and wrong. He already knows what's right and wrong. He's the sweetest child. I get so many compliments on him. I love him so much. He holds doors for people. He has the best manners. He's always saying thank you. He shares his toys. He's just so sweet. He always tucks me in. Like, I try to tuck him in, and then I'll go to bed, and then he'll be like, Mommy, I have to tuck you in. Like, he's just such a gentleman already, and I love him. So, yeah. This was definitely a hard topic to talk about. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't post this, but you know what? Oh well, because you know what? Like I said, the truth always comes out, whether it's 5 seconds later, 5 years later, or 50 years later, the truth comes out. Sometimes you want to force the truth and you want to be like, here's the screenshots of me not being crazy or this or that, but it's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. Let it go. Do your own thing. Honestly, like I said in the last rant, like you only live for so long. Go be happy. Because the only thing that pisses people off more is if you're happy and doing what you want. And you won't even be worried about the other family members or your ex-friends or like honestly whatever. It's not even about really my ex's family. You know what I mean? Like you're worried about yourself. And that's just the best advice I can give you guys. And hopefully if you don't have a good relationship with your ex's family and you have a child and you still have to see them, or hopefully, you just keep doing what you're doing and it will get better, and something will happen where, you guys could all have like an adult conversation. If not, nothing you can do about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be happy. Raise your child the best you can. And your child will see things when he grows up that he doesn't see now. Kids don't see it now. They will start to see things when they're older. And another thing I wanted to like make sure 100% clear on, just because you fight with a family member or like your ex's family member, not saying I fight with them, I'm just saying in general, like does not give you a right to keep that child away from their grandparent, their cousin, their uncle, whatever. If it's an unsafe situation, an unhealthy situation, of course, then your child probably should be removed of the situation. But if you're saying, oh, well, my child can't ever go to his grandma's house because me and his grandma doesn't get along because of some petty reason, whatever, I don't know, then you're wrong. You know what I mean? Then the child will be like, why'd you keep me from my grandparent? But as long as it's a healthy, safe and they're communicating well, then please, that is your child's family and you need to make sure that's part of their family. I think especially when I deleted social media, I just got my Instagram back. I've had my Snapchat, but I only have a couple friends on that. I just kind of post when I'm going crazy. But whatever. And then my Instagram is back. So if you guys are listening, go follow me. It's BekahBaby28. I made it open. It's not private anymore. So if you guys want to follow me, I don't have Facebook. I don't really like Facebook anymore. It's just not what it used to be, guys, back in the day. But I just opened social media up back maybe 2 days ago. But what I used to do, because I didn't have social media, I used to be on friends with his family so his family could see Willie. I always post things of Willie. But when I took social media away, and you guys can go listen to why I took social media away, I think it was almost a year ago, so you guys will have to search through my videos of why I deleted social media, which actually was one of the best things I've ever done. It was so nice not to know, people not knowing where I am and what me and Willie are doing. It was refreshing. My battery on my phone lasted a lot longer, so that was definitely a plus. But I have a group chat of his family, well, most of his family members that I have their numbers. And I, once or twice a month, whenever I got a chance, I would send them photos because it is very important to still include that child, in that family's life, whether you like them or not. Like I said, most of his family I don't have a problem with. I don't. We might not talk like we used to. We might not hang out like we used to. But that's okay because I needed to distance myself from some things that happened in that family and with his friends that were cheating and lying and all this other crap that they still don't know about. But it's okay because I shouldn't have to explain myself to anybody, even though I'm explaining myself to you guys. So it's a little bit weird. But yeah, I send photos and just make sure you're still, if it's the mom's birthday, have your son or your daughter call their mom or send a photo or send a card, still make an effort. But, you can still distance yourself at a healthy distance, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, And, this is the last thing I want to leave with you guys, is don't be upset when, you feel like you always have to reach out to that family member. Be like, hey, how are you? Would you like to see your grandchild? Would you like to see your aunt? Like, blah, 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 blah. And this is not just with co-parenting. It's with everyone. Stop making effort to be in somebody's life when they don't ever hit you up. Okay? If the family member never hits you up and is like, hey, how are you? Then why are you worried about constantly putting in effort when they don't put any effort in between? I've seen this so much with families that, like, the person will still try to stay in contact, but the family just won't try to stay in contact. Or you know what I mean? Because of whatever went down. And that's okay. You know, it goes both ways. And even in friendships, like, you shouldn't always be the one to hit you up and be like, hey, how are you? Hey, do you want to meet up for lunch? Or, like, you know, excuse me, I just burped. But, so yeah, I mean, it takes two to tangle. It takes two to have a relationship. You know, it is what it is. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. I don't know if this is going to be the end of the co-parenting or I'm going to think of another couple episodes or rants for you guys. But I wish Bronte will start feeling better because I miss her on the mic. I miss her all the time because she's always in Baltimore. So we definitely need to get together more, Bronte. But yeah, I have things to do today, guys. It's a rainy day right now. It's like kind of nasty out. So I'm like, ugh, perfect day to record though. Alrighty, guys. Love you guys. Like usual, if you guys have any questions, people have been messaging me, you know, telling me thank you so much for whatever, you know, thank you. Like, I don't feel alone anymore. You know, those kind of things are very, very, like, make me feel like, okay, I'm actually doing something good. I'm actually helping somebody. And like I said, if I can help one person, then my goal is complete. But I'm going to get off here because I got some things to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is Bekah and I'm popping off.